record. There we go. Right. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So let's look at
None of us know what we're doing, Lee.
now. No, normal scenario.
Yeah, normal.
Has anyone seen, by the way, has oil tapped into summer or has it just not come back yet?
I've got it just not coming back yet, mate. But it's yeah. I think it's got to. But I think it's just find it. Remind me to go back to EU because
Yeah.
that looked interesting there. So.
US oil is this? Hang on, let's have a look. Yeah, WTI. Okay.
Well, I think they're both about the same anyway, if I remember.
I
Yeah,
think US oil's a bit ahead of it as such.
Yeah.
yeah, it looks a bit like that.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
wanted this to come back a touch lower, somewhere in this down here,
Yeah.
which would obviously is now guaranteed to be the obviously because it's taken the previous 15-minute high, so this high here on its bullish trend. Um, this is now the new 15-minute low. So, uh, with that said, obviously it might not come that low. It could come from somewhere. I mean, it could come all the way from up there, anywhere in between that, I guess. Um, but yeah, there's likely an entry in here. There's liquidity in here that I've got marked up as well. So this is a sweep here, this candle, these two here. So I'd kind of expect it to come low down. But whether I'll leave an entry on it or not will depend on what it does up here as well. So, because I do think we are high time frame bearish still. So 4 hour bearish. So obviously this is the live high, still this one here, because this here, just circle it, that there didn't take this low. This one here, so technically this is still the live, and this was obviously when I was drawing this was just anticipation that it would take. Fuck off. Just want to extend you. Obviously, that was the anticipation that it would just take this low because of this higher time frame structure. Uh, but yeah, it's at the minute until the higher the low's taken. This is the current 4 hour live. I'm kind of hoping we're just going to come up in this top 25% hit in this sort of area, and then obviously show signals to downside, and then maybe we'll get the lower low from there. But obviously, without confirmations, we'll be taking nothing, and we are very possible that obviously because this is the leg, we could come and take this high if we're going to turn bullish on the 4 hour. Um, we've kind of had signals that we might turn bullish as well anyway, because obviously the 4 hour was bearish. Obviously we had a 15-minute pullback here. I mean, we covered this fucking ages ago. Obviously I was trying to buy it November, December time from October time. So we did have a 15-minute break to the upside here. Now, obviously just reconfirming what I just said is because obviously it hasn't taken the low. This is why I've got this orange zone marked because obviously this is the zone that caused this 15-minute break to the upside. Obviously, it's broken to the upside. We might just come to mitigate, and then we might just start coming higher overall, which will maybe turn us 4 hour bullish. Who knows? It's until we start hitting up here and just see confirmations. We don't know. Obviously, it's just what's possible. But yeah, if we look a bit closer into the current price, is we are yeah. So I mean, obviously, this was my prediction that we would take a new high. It's taken a lot longer than me markings showed. But if we're going to stay bullish, like I say, we will pull back into something and then maybe do another 15-minute swing. I mean, if we come down here. Like I say, oh, fuck off. Have I gone? Am I back? Anyone can hear me? Can you let me know?
Here you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cheers, mate.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, mate.
Can't hear anything.
I bet you're buzzing. Um, so yeah, I mean, if this comes way down in this, then like there's not much imbalance for it left to take. So if it does come this low, there's a good chance that it's just gonna fill an imbalance, tap into an order block, and then just possibly make a new 15-minute high. Obviously, I'd advise waiting for more confirmations. Obviously, it's up to you guys. But you all know structure anyway. So down here is premium times for buying. There's good reasons why. Obviously, I'd mark this zone, original zone up. Obviously, it takes this high, the previous 15-minute structure high. So, and it's the one that pretty much directly causes it. So don't do that. So yeah, I think he's going to come back. It'll just be obviously on the 15-minute pullback, which is what it is. It happens regularly. Oh, I keep moving stuff I don't want to do.
Might
So
show some at the end of the week.
yeah, yeah, I mean, it's gonna hit sort of up here first before it turns around anyway. I mean, now obviously it might take this high, this other previous structure high as well. Obviously, I don't know, but I think it's just wicked above this orange zone I had marked. So yeah, just above it at the minute. Um, so it's tagged something of this, but like that, I mean, that's a big chunk of imbalance. I don't know what that was, but yeah, it might come for that or even some up higher in this because there's big imbalance in all this. So it's not the best trend line. So this POI not up here might not be the best, but that doesn't mean there's not other trend lines to spot either. Fucking way off. Yeah, they're way off. Yeah, no, not good enough. Not good enough. But yeah, there's plenty for it to come above and grab anyway, like I say, with these big imbalances and things like that. And obviously, if it is going to stick to its 4 hour, obviously, if this is the, oh, sorry, I said this is the 4 hour live, but it might come into here and mitigate something and then start to make its new 4 hour low if that's what you're going to do. So, but like I say, if it's coming up here, we'll get, if it is going to do, uh, that would be the new high if it doesn't take that high and then makes a new low. So if price from where it comes now comes up, let's just say goes up to that blue POI there and then takes the low. I'll just turn that red. Uh, turn red. So that would mean that this remains as the 4 hour high, and then obviously the 4 hour low would be at that point. So obviously once it takes this low, it'd be the highest price action until it breaks the low. So the options are obviously there might be a few upcoming options for sells up in this sort of higher area anyway. So obviously once it say comes up into these sort of areas, we'll get a 1 minute break to the downside. Obviously that will be a slightly aggressive entry, especially if you're considering for a new like major low. Possible high risk rewards trades, which obviously is nice. But yeah, so there'll be one trade where we get a 1 minute break and then obviously you just risk holding it for until you're a fucking millionaire, basically. Um, the second option, so let me just draw that out on the 1 minute as well. So if you get a 1 minute, something like that, uh, turn it green. So fair sort of entry would be something like that if you get just a 1 minute. Just delete that as well because that's confusing. So yeah, first aggressive entry. The second, obviously, possible entry would be obviously you ignore the first 1 minute entry, change of character, sorry, and then instead, if you see from there, if that's a pullback, we would break the 15 minute that leads up to the high that's made. Then obviously you could wait for the an entry off that point. Would be
What are your blue boxes, Lee? Are they 15-minute POIs?
they Yeah, a long time ago, mate. I just started using blues as just as a lower time frame sort of point of
Okay.
interest.
All
So
right. Cool.
there could be 15, there could be a 1 minute. Just it was just areas that
All
had
right.
gave me some form of interest, but doesn't follow my structural
Cool.
rules as such.
Okay. That's cool. Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, just lower to medium time frame area, mate. Um. So yeah, as obviously, so the second entry would be obviously the waiting for the 15-minute break and then getting back in. Obviously, the third entry would be the same 15-minute break and then waiting for another 1 minute break to the downside. So, but once we come into this sort of high area, there'll be 4 or 5 opportunities to get actually into the trade should it happen and don't just obviously blast through. Um, but yeah, that's what you should be waiting for in them sort of areas. So I suppose technically, obviously from there to there, yeah. So obviously where I've drawn where the blue box is 25%, top 25%. Obviously I've gone from this because this is the current live leg still, because all this is technically internal on the 4 hour anyway. But like I say, we've seen all this internal stuff is the obviously 15 minute or 1 minute stuff playing out and doing its thing. So, but 4 hour is technically internal. But obviously then, like I say, as we said, we use the 15 minutes try and confirm maybe that is it going to turn round, you know. Obviously would need to start seeing it breaking high like this high if we think it's going to be a major move. But set coming up sells definitely I'd be definitely keeping an eye on up here. So I advise you all to mark that and follow it a little bit. Um, is there any questions on that, peoples?
Good.
Thought as much. I'm just going to delete them and then I'm going to go back to EU because that might have been a trade that's live, which you'll all be maybe glad about. Da-da.
Yeah, yeah.
So, obviously, I only caught this at a glimpse, so I don't actually know where it's at and what it's done. But, so as we can see, we're 4 hour bullish. Yeah, we've pulled back a bit. We've got, so that, I mean, this is a big 15-minute leg here, but what I'll do is I'll update the 15-minute leg and then I'm going to bar replay it from just around here because what we've got a glimpse is we've got so 15-minute high.
Oh, he's back.
Share screen again. Well, that's
Back.
fucking gay. Sorry about that, lads. So yeah, we've got a 15-minute break here. Here, obviously, something in all this is the cause of it, and it looks like we've possibly mitigated and maybe broken here. So, what? Let me move that up. So I get called out for being a liar. So there, we've got a little order block type thing going on there. So turn that orange. So before I actually like bar replay and things like that, obviously we've pulled back a decent amount into the 15-minute structure. Obviously this is a high because it takes this high here, so that's the leg. We pull back. So from that we can start to think that we've got a reason. Pardon me. We'll go and find reasons why this is a good point of interest. Obviously, it takes this is literally directly the one that causes this high to be taken on the previous 15-minute leg. But if we think about structure, if we're going to stay bullish, obviously we would just say we think we're going to pull back somewhere, and then we're going to set a new high if that's the overall objective of the market. So what I'm going to do is let's bar replay. Start new. So what I'm gonna do is just bar replay just after it's the point it retakes the previous high. So I mean this all looks pretty shitty on the 15-minute. You'd maybe mark that slightly bigger. You'd maybe mark it there, I guess. A bit of imbalances or something happens in this sort of area. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break the actual zone down. I'm gonna drop through the time frames so you can actually start to see. I don't think this is fucking about again. Load up.
Out and oh, here it goes.
Sorry, lads, it's
Let me
been
see if
fucking gay again. Got AOL dial up. What?
I said you need to be getting a better internet connection with all this money you claim to be making.
Yeah.
yeah.
What it is, right, is I can see it on me bottom icons. I've got so I'll set up my PC the other end of the house to where my modem is, my router, sorry. And I think my USB ports play up because I see like a USB dial pop up and then it drops me out for like 30 seconds, which is fucking gay. But I've literally just got hold of a um Ethernet cable that'll reach through, but I need to like drill through walls to get it. I just haven't got around to it yet. But anyway, enough of my bullshit. I'll carry on. So what I'll do is I will just drop through the time frame so you can start to see like why I would mark this area as a zone that I'd want to be mitigated, which is obviously all I'm looking for really is just imbalances. So 5 minute looks like shite. We start to get some better candle formation on the 1 minute. So just going to mark some rough areas, mark them yellow. I'm going to drop to the seconds as well and remark these. Something in here, I think, which I've not seen on the minute. 15:10. So imbalance there. Imbalance sort of a touch lower. That mitigates that there, I think. This one here, they'll be the best looking out of a lot of them. Bit of BPR going on as well. 10 purple. BPR purple. So I marked a couple of bits on that one. This is by far the best looking candle that I've seen in this whole area. Well, I mean, that one's quite good as well. Just going to look on the 5 and just change it if I need to. No candles. So they obviously both look a bit shit on the 5. Still looks okay, kind of. Still looks good down here, this one here as well. So anyway, we've got the whole sort of 15-minute area marked. So I've marked some of the lower time frame imbalances involved in it. So what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to have a quick gander for more, see if there's any other like liquidities that would indicate that this is a good area, because obviously there is. Has it done it again? I'm back anyway, lads. So we're back on. This is going to be dead fucking seamless when I upload the live.
Fucking shambles, Lee. I know why I don't come on.
I know, it's fucking annoying. Um, yeah, so I'm just going to anyway search for some liquidity to try and. I think it. Uh, yeah, just to try and maybe like identify why. Obviously, so there's this area, there's possible bits down here as well. So I'm going to try and find liquidity that also maybe identifies why this one rather than the ones a bit lower. It might still come lower, obviously, I don't know. It might have played out, it might not have. Because obviously there's just a couple of bits of imbalance down here that it might come for. There's obviously the one on this leg here, so let me just zoom out a touch as well. There's a chance that it might come lower because obviously there's a 1 minute structure that's been formed down here. Obviously we break above here. Then a second. That one there. No. So there's a 1 minute break there. The price might have come back and mitigated here. It might not have. There's still a little bit of price action underneath that. So yeah, I'm just gonna have a quick look through all this sort of stuff here to see if I can find any liquidity just to back up my claim that I think this might be the area here. So try this one. It's not gonna work. Wick is half one. Another one. Yeah, that's it there. So 3 touches there. Bang on. So I'm happy with that. I'm not gonna check it on the low. That's pretty looks tidy on the 15 minute anyway. So we'll say that's a good trend line. So if I just extend that. Same again, obviously, same reason. This is created. It then causes liquidity to be taken. It causes a structure high to be taken. So, fairly happy with that. Just want to make sure there's nothing down here that would maybe suggest it's still coming lower as well. No. Doesn't mean it's not that. No. I'm not going to spend loads of time, obviously. Just spend that one. No. Yeah, no. Can't see anything. Don't really see anything that makes me think it's got wants to come lower. Same again. What I'm doing is obviously I've highlighted this trend line that makes me think that this is the one it's coming down for. I'm basically just looking for the same somewhere in this because it might indicate that this is where it actually wants to come before it continues its next 15-minute leg. So basically, now that we've got that set up, what we're basically looking for is we're hoping obviously price is going to come back, which it does. Obviously, we've seen it comes back to the area that I drew. And then we're basically just waiting for a break to the upside. Ideally, it will fill one of these imbalances to the pipette, give or take a pipette or two, I guess, if you want to give it a little bit of breathing space. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut the bar replay. And right, so let's go there. So now, obviously, price has tagged the point of interest. So imagine if, obviously, if we imagine our layer went off at the open of the box, we can. It's gone past some of the imbalances. It's left a tiny bit of the BPR and the imbalance below. I'll check that in a minute. We'll go back and check that and see if we'd be happy with that. But basically, if we are looking for the buy, this is the 1 minute high I want to be taken. So trending downwards, we low, high, low, high, low, high, low. So yeah, for like I say, I want to see this one broken. Take green, obviously. Failing that, obviously, we will. If we don't break the high, then obviously we'll just come in somewhere in that high and possibly make a new low. That's one of the two anticipations. Um, what I will do is I'll bar replay it back to here because I want to check. Get off a minute. So I just want to check. So obviously you all know I'm very like precise, I guess is the word, pedantic maybe. So just drawing a line from that low there. So I want to make sure I'm going to check on this little imbalance in the POI to uh, see if I'm happy with what it's actually done. So it looks like it's shy of filling at the minute. So at the minute, it looks like it would be a high risk sort of thing for me. So, like I say, we've got a big bit of imbalance here. God, big bit of imbalance in BPR left to fill. Just going to check on the 5 in 1 second just to make sure whether I'm happy or not. Yeah. See, I think this is all. Now there's a gap here. I think that's still imbalance. So if you look at the time, that's 14:45 double O, and then the next candle's 14:45:05. So what I think this gap here is there's going to be like a delay when the candles change over. Now, bear in mind we're only on the 5 second, but let's say half a I don't know, half a second delay before it turns over. Like the price has moved that much in that time from the candle go from that one to start that one. It's moved that much and then it continued up. So I think this is all imbalance.
That was USD red news.
This was.
Yeah, it's red news 2:45 on the 23rd. Spot on.
Well, there you go then. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still think that's imbalance anyway. If we,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I'm saying this is still unfilled. So risky. Don't think I'd be considering that trade. if it's broken the 1 minute high, and then the 1 minute it just shows it's gone to shit, so can't see out in that. So yeah. But let's check out obviously the rest of the trade anyway. Let's go forward. So high risk, but it might take the high, and then obviously you decide that you're just happy to take a trade or whatever, or you might still be happy to trade. Like I said, I don't know if it's played out or not. Play some candles. Let's see.
I'm glad you're covering this.
Yeah, I've got it marked up actually.
So, but right, you'll see, it pissed me off.
There you go.
Right. So
No change of character for me.
no change of character.
2 pipette.
Yeah.
Yeah. No change of character. We've still got a slight bit of imbalance to the downside. I mean, so I suppose technically, if you went for a sub 1 minute, so obviously I've got this as my 1 minute leg. If you was really fucking brave and you wanted to be like sub 1 minute, you could have maybe caught a buy because there's a change of character in here. And obviously this looks like it's mitigated probably the lowest imbalance in this with that. Would have been risky, but obviously it's doable, kind of, Obviously it's up to you guys how you would want to trade, but no change of character. See where we'll go to now. Nearly market close at that.
That's it. You're done.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, anticipations still with the downside. Then I'm still think we'll come in a touch lower at least. Yeah, that's about that to be honest. Didn't know if it broke it or not, but it hasn't. So at a glance, and I thought it had. I suppose now there's an opportunity for a sell possibly. So uh, so if we look at that. So we've got a huge fuck off imbalance here in an order block created, obviously. Lower time frame point of interest. Now, this is why I use the blue mat because this isn't an entry, but it's like a 1
Yeah.
minute or sub 1 minute point of interest that I'm kind of interested in.
Okay. But not a green one, which you'd use for an
Yeah,
entry.
obviously green would indicate an entry, and I wouldn't have looked for an entry off this yet. So it's
I've got that was so close that I've got those effectively marked as equal highs anyway. So I wouldn't want to be entering below them.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, look, tags that fucking order block at the top perfectly. But yeah, like obviously there's a possible sort of trade maybe coming up off that if you wanted to be really, really aggressive. Now, I wouldn't advise it. So everything's telling me at the minute we're probably coming lower still. Possibly. So obviously we in the 1 minute we get sub. I'm going to assume that's the new 1 minute high. So I'm kind of predicting a little bit. That one didn't happen. Fuck off. So obviously from this low now, obviously we tend to stick to the 15 minute and 1 minute sort of structures for our entries, but you can obviously do 1 minute and sub 1 minute if you really wanted to, kind of thing. I don't advise it. I do it sometimes myself when I feel really comfortable. But what we can start to do is obviously we can use this structure. Now this is a good 1 minute structure. It takes what from this high to that low. I mean, it's 5 odd hours of price action, and then the anticipated high. Now, I'll say anticipated because it hasn't taken the low yet, but there's a good chance it will take the low. I mean, that's just over a day in price action. So these are good, solid 1 minute like structures. Probably everyone else in like the FVG chats or gas or bankers or whatever. I mean, this is probably their 15 or whatever, but it's what I class as my one. I'm viewing it on 5 minutes would fit more in. And you can sort of see the overall sort of swing points. But in this leg up to obviously mitigating this, obviously point of interest is blue box.